for our government? Is it this, does the word even mean the same thing in China as it means here? Republic. So republic is what? Representative government, right? You elect your representatives.
I wouldn't think that would be part of the name of the Chinese government. Representative government. I'm not thinking so. So what does it mean to them? How do they explain that? Or are they trying to make that, is that a facade? I mean, is that something that they want people to think?
Well, China has been changing so rapidly. We'll get onto this after. In somewhat, I don't know. I don't really know the answers to the questions. I don't really understand what their system does. I know they do have courts. They do have a People's Congress. Is that what it's called?
I guess. They said in Chinese, so how do I?
They have a People's Congress. They have a system of replacing the leaders. They replaced the leader in China when we were there.
Every 10 years.
Whether they need it or not, huh?
And they just follow that
Well, they just
cycle.
they just have that.
How do they replace them?
I
Is
believe
it-
Their
that
committees
Is
vote.
it a government, like appointment?
The higher echelon selects internally whom they want to promote.
I think the People's Congress have something to do with it too. And the
They
People's
maybe
Congress is,
ratify it or something like that.
as far as I understand, they are supposed to be representing the people. They're not elected, I don't think necessarily, I think they're appointed, but they do have responsibility to the people. There hasn't always been the way it is in China, or even in the recent history, but I just see some tendencies in our own country that make me concerned of, are we a republic anymore?
Not anymore.
Are we?
Not when our Congress is trying to get answers about
Let me see what I can figure out.
about an event and the government is whisking people away and changing their names. That to me is not a republic.
Oh, and it's not a republic when the president
Says
Does
yeah.
executive
We're gonna ignore
orders.
that part.
executive orders with no backing from anybody. That doesn't sound like a republic.
Well, it's a republic that ceased to enforce its rules and laws.
That's true.
I mean,
It's
on
ringing for you.
paper, it's a republic. The Constitution is the supreme law of the land, but it's not enforced or followed.
So is that the full definition of republic? A representative government? Is that all that it
Let's take a look
means?
at the 1828 definition.
Is it in there?
No,
Well,
but
it's in
it's on
here.
the-
Awesome.
It defines it.
Okay.
James
I would love to
Madison.
understand this more, what a republic is for sure and what
A republic defined as
democracy.
Quoting James Madison.
Stop.
It's on page
Try again when you're
155.
ready. Tell me when you're ready.
Well, I was looking on 158, but I think it's repeated.
we may define a republic to be.
You may have different editions, I don't know.
Well, he
If it goes out
repeated
again,
it.
just
so-
give me a call. Just-
It's quoting Federalist Paper 39. We may define a republic to be a government which derives all its powers directly or indirectly from the great body of the people, and it's administered by persons holding their offices during pleasure for a limited period or during good behavior. It is essential to such a government that it be derived from the great body of the society, not from an inconsiderable proportion or a favored class of it. Otherwise, a handful of tyrannical nobles, exercising their oppressions by a delegation of their powers, might aspire to the rank of republicans and claim for their government the honorable title of republic.
So help me see if I have this straight. If there were no representatives at all, and it was just popular vote of everything, that would be a democracy. And if it was not if it was a government by a smaller body, but it was not a representative body, If it was one person, that's a monarchy, but if it's a group, what would that be? Is that,
Well,
is that what an
they gave us that
aristocracy is?
chart. Where is my chart? Yeah.
This describes a democracy right here.
Read that describes a democracy, Lydia.
I love the short version of democracy.
154 page. In a democracy, the people meet and exercise the government in person. In a republic, they assemble and administer it by their representatives and agents. A democracy consequently must be confined to a small spot. Otherwise, people can't meet in person. A republic may be extended over a large region.
And you know, that's funny because in my mind, I always think a democracy is mob rule. It's the majority. But I never thought about it having to be in a small spot. Because you have, yeah.
So there's
like you're on.
it sounds to me like there's a place for democracy. It's not on a
Yes.
huge national
He's
scale.
nice through the phone.
But for the real definition of democracy, there is a place for it where everyone meets in person without having a representative. What would be a good place for a
A
democracy?
neighborhood.
Right
Right,
here, I'm going
good.
to put in a
Thanks.
little note. I don't know if you've seen the announcement about the August Liberty Forum. I
Mhm.
can send it. Did you see it?
I did see that one. We're
Um,
gonna be having a little family reunion
Oh,
that week,
uh-huh.
so
They are going to explain the caucus system. And to me, a caucus system would be a local democracy. The whole neighborhood meets and votes, right? That's why we have caucuses.
and
Right,
that
you're-
one is true majority rule. Even though you are from the caucus, often choosing representatives, the caucus itself.
Right,
It's a
the
democratic
caucus, right, the
process.
caucus is democracy, but then you're choosing a representative.
To go
For
to
the
have
Republic,
bigger
right.
levels, yeah,
Right.
yeah. What were you gonna say, Kate?
You got it, you got it covered.
Okay,
But just to review, that with one rule, this is back in lecture 2. Excuse me. One ruler, the good form is monarchy. The bad form is tyranny.
Tyranny, right.
And it provides for ultimate power. When you have a ruling class, the good form is aristocracy, the bad form is oligarchy, and it provides wisdom. Then when you have the people ruling, you have the good form is a constitutional republic, the bad form is a democracy or mob rule.
Yeah.
And the provider, what it provides for is virtue or goodness. And that is, the provider means what maintains the form.
it's what comes out of having that form and what keeps the form.
It's what
alive.
keeps the form together. So once you drop the virtue,
You can't
you
have a
can't
republic.
have a constitutional republic.